Good evening, everybody. ASAP has brought about a light in the lives of the people through the webinar. And we have a renowned person, Dr. M.I. Sahadullah, Chairman and Managing Director of KIMS Healthcare, with over 40 impressive experience of over 40 years spanning across different countries from US, UK, Saudi Arabia, and Middle East. Sir, your wide range of expertise can bring about a light in the lives of the people now during this situation. And so I'd request you, sir, to enlighten everybody through the COVID-19 exit plan which you're going to present today. Thank you, sir, and over to you.
Okay, this webinar is really to discuss into two of us are participating. I am Dr. Sahadullah, as will be introduced, and then Dr. Rajalakshmi. She is the head of the infectious disease and senior consultant who is closely involved with the government of Kerala as well as KIMS in setting up the COVID crisis management team and other activities. I will give an overview of what is happening now and and what is the direction we may have to take as we go along. I know that there is enough and more materials are circulated through social media, as well as many other, print media, television, and so you will have enough information about COVID-19. It is an unprecedented situation for us, and in my lifetime, or even my father might not have has not told any of us similar magnitude of problems in the world. Now, it came to India as we expected, and we went ahead with the lockdown on the 24th of March, and Government of India took the right steps. In fact, a day earlier, Kerala decided to go on the lockdown, and so it definitely I will try to talk in Malayalam as well as in English so that there won't be it will be easier for some of you. Kerala thinks today, and then India follows tomorrow. Even that was a caption which has come up in India today. So Kerala model had been extremely good, and government was able to contain the disease to a great extent. I'll come to that in a minute, and first of all, I want to really congratulate the government of Kerala, especially the health minister and the chief minister for the leadership they have given, and a very good technical team which has been formed, and they are on the top of it. They have got a war room and a disaster management plan and everything. Now, if you examine the impact of COVID, usually we all discuss in three headings. One is the healthcare problems, and second is the governance issues, administrative and management issues for everyone, government, in our personal level, our institutional level. And the third one is the most major, the economic impact we have, because of this disease. Now, we used to say that, maybe a nuclear bomb or something, ഒരു ന്യൂക്ലിയർ ഹോളോകോസ്റ്റ് വന്നാലാണ് ശരിക്കും ഈ പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ വരിക എന്ന് നമുക്ക് തോന്നാറുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അങ്ങനെ അതാണ് ഒരു വലിയ ഡേഞ്ചറായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ കണ്ടിരുന്നത്. ഇപ്പോഴെന്താന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ പിന്നെ രണ്ടാമതൊരു പ്രശ്നം നമ്മൾ എക്സ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്തിരുന്നത് മേ ബി ഗ്ലോബൽ വാർമിംഗ് കൊണ്ടായിരിക്കാം. പക്ഷേ ആരും എക്സ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്യാതെ ഉള്ളവരാണ് ഈ എമർജിങ് വൈറസ് ഡിസീസ് ആയിട്ട് വന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ലോക്ക്ഡൗൺ കൊണ്ട് നമ്മൾ എന്തെല്ലാം അച്ചീവ് ചെയ്തു എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. ലോക്ക്ഡൗൺ വാസ് ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി യൂസ്ഫുൾ. All over the world, many countries have used that. പക്ഷേ ഫോർ എ ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ്, പലരും പല ആഴ്ചകളിലാണ്. ചിലർ ഒരാഴ്ച മാത്രം ഉപയോഗിച്ചു. സൗത്ത് കൊറിയയിൽ മേ ബി 1-2 ആഴ്ച ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നുള്ളൂ. ജപ്പാനിൽ 2-3 ആഴ്ച, ആൻഡ് വേരിയബിൾ പീരിയഡ്. സിംഗപ്പൂരിൽ കുറച്ച് സമയം. പക്ഷേ എല്ലായിടത്തും എത്രയും പെട്ടെന്ന് നമ്മൾ നോർമൽസിയിലേക്ക് വരാൻ ഉള്ള ഒരു ശ്രമമായിരുന്നു. അതെന്താ അങ്ങനെ നോർമൽസിയിലേക്ക് വരാനുള്ള ശ്രമം എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എക്കണോമിക് ഇമ്പാക്റ്റ് വളരെ ഹൈ ആയിരിക്കും. സോ ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ബി എൻ എക്കണോമിക് പ്രോബ്ലം, കില്ലിംഗ് മോർ പീപ്പിൾ ആൻഡ് കോസിങ് മോർ പ്രോബ്ലംസ് ദാൻ കോവിഡ് ഇറ്റ്സെൽഫ്. അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ട് എല്ലാവർക്കും പെട്ടെന്ന് തിരിച്ച് നോർമൽസിയിലേക്ക് വരാനുള്ള ഒരു ആകാംക്ഷ നമ്മുടെ കേരളത്തിലും ഉണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ കേരളം മാത്രമായിട്ട് ഈ കാര്യത്തെ കാണാൻ പറ്റില്ല. ഗവൺമെന്റ് ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യയുടെ നോംസ് അനുസരിച്ച് വിൽ ബി ഏബിൾ ടു പ്രൊസീഡ്. സോ ലേറ്റസ്റ്റ് ഫൈൻഡിങ് എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഒരു ഫീലിംഗ് ദാറ്റ് ഗവൺമെന്റ് ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യ മേ എക്സ്റ്റെൻഡ് ദി ലോക്ക്ഡൗൺ ഫോർ 1 more week. So I think we have to look at what are the things we achieved because of the lockdown. ഒന്നെന്താന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ the primary and secondary contacts നമുക്ക് കണ്ടെയ്ൻ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റി. അതായത് പ്രൈമറി കോണ്ടാക്ട്സ് വെളിയിൽ നിന്ന് വരുന്ന ആളുകളെ, that is we call it as a phase 1. Then അവരുടെ കോണ്ടാക്ട് സെക്കൻഡറി കോണ്ടാക്ട്സ്, that is phase 2. ഇത് രണ്ടും ഐഡന്റിഫൈ ചെയ്ത് അവരെ ഐസൊലേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് ഇത് ചെയ്തത് കാരണം നമുക്ക് ഡെഫിനറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് ഒരു വിധത്തിൽ നമുക്കത് കണ്ടെയ്ൻ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ഇതുവരെയ്ക്കും നമുക്കൊരു phase 3 phase 4 കേരളത്തിൽ ഉണ്ടായിട്ടില്ല എന്നുള്ളതാണ് നമ്മുടെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ ഒരു സക്സസ് ആയിട്ട് കാണുന്നത്. സെക്കൻഡ് എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഹോട്ട്സ്പോട്ട് ഐഡന്റിഫൈ ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് അവസരം കിട്ടും. അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ട് ഹോട്ട്സ്പോട്ട് ഐഡന്റിഫൈ ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഉടനെ തന്നെ അത് അവിടെ മുഴുവനും നമ്മൾ റിസ്ട്രെയിൻ ചെയ്തു. അങ്ങനെ കൂടുതൽ മൂവ്മെന്റ്സ് എല്ലാം മാറ്റി കോണ്ടാക്ട്സിനെ ഐസൊലേറ്റ് ചെയ്തു. അതിനുള്ള അവസരം കിട്ടി. മൂന്നാമത്തത്, ഇത് ഈ ലോക്ക്ഡൗൺ പീരീഡ് കാരണം നമുക്ക് ഒരുപാട് പീരീഡ് കിട്ടി. ലോക്ക്ഡൗൺ പീരീഡ് കാരണം നമുക്ക് പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്യാനുള്ള അവസരം ശരിക്കും കിട്ടി. അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഗവൺമെന്റ് ഒരു ടെക്നിക്കൽ കമ്മിറ്റി ഉണ്ടാക്കി, ഡിസാസ്റ്റർ മാനേജ്മെന്റ്, വാർ റൂം അതെല്ലാം ഉണ്ടാക്കി. അത് മാത്രമല്ല, ആദ്യമായിട്ട് ഇന്ത്യയിൽ ഒരു 20,000 crore ഒരു പാക്കേജ് ഇത് മീറ്റ് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് ആദ്യമായിട്ട് ഡിക്ലെയർ ചെയ്ത് നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിലാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ആ വിധത്തിലുള്ള എല്ലാ ആക്ഷനും എടുക്കാൻ പറ്റിയത് ഈ ലോക്ക്ഡൗൺ കൊണ്ടാണ്. ഇനി ലോക്ക്ഡൗണിന് കൂടുതൽ സംസാരിക്കുന്നതിന് പകരം ഇനി ലോക്ക്ഡൗൺ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് എന്താണ് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യാൻ പോവുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. ഇപ്പോൾ 3 കാര്യങ്ങൾ സംഭവിക്കാം. ഒന്നുകിൽ എക്സ്റ്റെൻഡ് ദ ലോക്ക്ഡൗൺ, ആൻഡ് സെക്കൻഡ് maybe we will partially release the lockdown or completely remove the lockdown. These are the 3 things which can happen. So most likely, if we do not extend, if Keralathil permission kittukaanengil we will not extend it. Probably we will partial restrictions ആയിട്ട് റിമൂവ് ചെയ്യും. പക്ഷേ പാർഷ്യൽ റിസ്ട്രിക്ഷൻ ആയിട്ട് റിമൂവ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ കുറേശ്ശെ പ്രയോറിറ്റി വെച്ചിട്ടുള്ള ഓരോ സെക്ടറും വിച്ച് വിൽ ബി റിലീസ്ഡ് ഫോർ നോർമൽ ലൈഫ്. ആൻഡ് ദാറ്റ് മേ ബി ദി കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് അപ്രോച്ച് ഗവൺമെന്റ് ഈസ് ഗോയിങ് ടു ടേക്ക്. ഏറ്റവും ഈ ലോക്ക്ഡൗൺ കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്താലുള്ള കുഴപ്പം എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ, ഡെഫിനറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് വി വിൽ ഹാവ് അതായത് ഒരു grinding halt on our economy will be the problem. As for example, agriculture, manufacturing illa, even healthcare തന്നെയും all the hospitals are functioning at 20 to 30% level only, and so travel illa, airlines illa, and we cannot just close the doors and sit at home for a longer period of time. So 3 weeks is a good time, and now we may have to release. So general opinion, even my opinion is that slowly and steadily we have to release it. പക്ഷേ ഇത് റിലീസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ഹെൽപ്പ് വേണ്ടത് പബ്ലിക്കിൻ്റെ അടുത്താണ്. ബിക്കോസ് ഇതൊരു പബ്ലിക് കറ്റാസ്ട്രോഫിയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ പബ്ലിക് ഹെൽത്ത് പബ്ലിക് എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം എന്നുള്ളതിനെ പറ്റിയാണ് ഞാൻ ഒരു ഫ്യൂ തിങ്സ് ഐ വിൽ ടെൽ, ആൻഡ് ദെൻ ഐ വിൽ ഹാൻഡ് ഓവർ ടു രാജലക്ഷ്മി. അതായത് ഇത് റിലീസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ എന്തെല്ലാം സംഭവിക്കാം. അതായത് ഡൊമസ്റ്റിക് ഫ്ലൈറ്റ് വളരെ കുറവായിട്ട് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ടുള്ള ഉദ്ദേശമാണ്. ഡൊമസ്റ്റിക് ഫ്ലൈറ്റ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്താൽ അതിനകത്ത് 2 പേര് അടുത്തിരിക്കാൻ പാടില്ല. ഏറ്റവും ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ് പോയിന്റ് സോഷ്യൽ ഡിസ്റ്റൻസിങ്. അപ്പോൾ അതിന് ഡൊമസ്റ്റിക് ഫ്ലൈറ്റിൽ എങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും? ട്രെയിൻസ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പോവുകയാണ്. മിക്കവാറും ഈ അടുത്ത ആഴ്ച ലോക്ക്ഡൗൺ പാർഷ്യലായിട്ട് റിലീസ് ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ട്രെയിൻസ്, കാര്യം വെച്ചാൽ ഒരുപാട് മൈഗ്രൻ്റ് വർക്കേഴ്സ് വീട്ടിൽ പോകാനായിട്ട് കാത്തിരിക്കുന്ന ആളുകളാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അവർക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഇതെന്ന് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. ആൻഡ് തേർഡ് തിങ് ഈസ് ദാറ്റ് അങ്ങനെ ഓരോ സെക്ടറിലും there are so many sectors you can talk about it. So all these have to be done with the maximum safety of the people, and so people should understand the value of all the things which we are the government is trying to do and the various agencies are trying to do. ഏറ്റവും ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് സോഷ്യൽ ഡിസ്റ്റൻസിങ്. അത് നമ്മളൊരു 6 feet എയിം ചെയ്യണം, എന്നാലേ ഒരു 3 feetലെങ്കിലും തീരുള്ളൂ. ആൻഡ് എല്ലാ ആളുകളും, നമ്മുടെ കുട്ടികളെയും വലിയ ആളുകളെയും എല്ലാവരെയും അതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ചെയ്യുക. സെക്കൻഡ് ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ്, വൾണറബിൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആളുകൾ, അതായത് ഇപ്പോൾ ഏറ്റവും ഹെൽത്തി ആയിട്ടുള്ളതും ഏറ്റവും റിക്കവറി ഉള്ളതും 22 to 60 ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ അതാണ് ഏറ്റവും നല്ല വർക്ക് ഫോഴ്സ്. ദേ ക്യാൻ ഗോ ബാക്ക് ആൻഡ് വർക്ക്, സ്റ്റാർട്ട് വർക്കിംഗ്. പക്ഷേ more than 60 and or more than near 70 or with the diabetes and all, അവർ കൂടുതൽ ഹൈ റിസ്ക് ആളുകളാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അവരെ ഡെഫിനറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ വൾണറബിൾ ഗ്രൂപ്പ് ആയതുകൊണ്ട് ഐസൊലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യണം. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ സ്മോൾ ചിൽഡ്രനെയും ഐസൊലേറ്റ് മാറ്റി നിർത്തേണ്ടി വരും ഈ ലോക്ക്ഡൗൺ മാറ്റുമ്പോൾ. പിന്നെ ബാക്കിയുള്ള പല സെക്ടേഴ്സും കുറേശ്ശായിട്ട് ഓപ്പൺ ചെയ്യും. അതായത് സീ ഫുഡ് ഉണ്ട്, പിന്നെ ഫിഷിംഗ് ഉണ്ട്, wood industry, so many industries are going to open up. Another important factor I want to underline is that testing. എപ്പോൾ സംശയം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലും ടെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യണം. അപ്പോൾ ടെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള സൗകര്യം ഇപ്പോൾ വളരെ കൂടുതൽ ഓപ്പൺ അപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോവാണ് കേരളത്തിൽ. ആൻഡ് I think many centers will be opened up in the coming week, and private centers will be opened up, and many accredited labs will be doing it. So the turnaround time will come down, and the turnaround time can be few hours, maybe 3-4 hours only, and that will be definitely help. So അപ്പോൾ ഹോസ്പിറ്റൽ തന്നെ ഇപ്പോൾ ഈവൻ അവർ ഹോസ്പിറ്റൽ, കിംസ് ഹോസ്പിറ്റൽ, ഡോക്ടേഴ്സ് ആണ് ഏറ്റവും ഹെൽത്ത് കെയർ വർക്കേഴ്സിൻ്റെ സേഫ്റ്റിയാണ് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ഏറ്റവും പ്രശ്നമായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യം. അപ്പോൾ അത് അവർക്ക് അസുഖം വരാതെ ഇരിക്കണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അവർ നല്ല പോലുള്ള മാസ്കും അവർ പിന്നെ PPE എന്ന് പറയും, പേഴ്സണൽ പ്രൊട്ടക്റ്റീവ് എക്യുപ്മെൻറ്റും they have to wear. ആൻഡ് അതിന് ആർക്കെല്ലാം വെയർ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും? ബിക്കോസ് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് വെരി എക്സ്പെൻസീവ്. എ പേഴ്സണൽ പ്രൊട്ടക്റ്റീവ് എക്യുപ്മെൻറ്റ് alone will cost about 1,200 rupees, and that will be many times you have to give to many people, you have to give in the high risk area, and so that can cost in lakhs and lakhs rupees per month, which will not be affordable. So therefore, we have to do that with the diligence and rationalism. And and it is not for 1 week or 2 weeks. Everybody should understand that this is going to last for at least to 69 months time. And therefore, there is no way we can just relax and say that, let us look at it and do it. No, this is, everybody psychologically should prepare that is 6 to 9 months time. It will take, if God helps us, and I think it can go even longer. So what I want to talk to you about the take home message, actually, as public and as listeners and as common people and not doctors or anything, what you have to do is the question you have to think about. And one, as I said, psychologically 6 to 9 months in our war preparation, നമ്മൾ സൈക്കോളജിക്കലായിട്ട് റെഡി ആയിരിക്കണം. രണ്ടാമത്തത്, ഈ ഗവൺമെന്റ് പറഞ്ഞ ഈ 3-4 കാര്യങ്ങൾ, അതായത് സോഷ്യൽ ഡിസ്റ്റൻസിങ്, മാസ്ക് വെയറിങ് ആൻഡ് വാഷിംഗ് ദ ഹാൻഡ്സ്, ഈ കാര്യങ്ങൾ യാതൊരു വിധത്തിലുള്ള ദാക്ഷിണ്യമില്ലാതെ, വിത്തൗട്ട് എനി കൺസെഷൻ or without any discounting on that, we should all do it. And this is a must, and we should look at every possible way that we can make this more and more successful, and everybody should become conscious about it. Then the third thing is, of course, the grouping of people. Next month, this month, in 2 weeks' time, we are going to have Ramadan, for the Muslim community. And Ramadan is a time when people get together, not only Muslims, all the people get together as a part of iftar, the so-called fast breaking, and that should be completely abolished. And there is no chance that we can even think about it. Maybe next year, if that may be possible. Then another important point to take home is that, psychologically, we are all very, very disturbed and tense. And please do not panic. If the right things are done, this is a disease which is containable. And hopefully, early next year, we will be having definitely a vaccine. And that's what the indications as I see. And therefore, we have to survive, and we should take all the measures to fight this disease. So without panic, we should go, pandemic precipitated panic, PPP, and that is a major concern and a psychological setback. And so even counseling and seeing doctors, or even psychological counselors can help us. Vulnerable population, 65-70 with diabetes, please be careful and keep them away from a possible contact in the daily life, and when the lockdown is over. Testing and testing and testing, as it is told, നമ്മൾ എന്ത് അവസരം കിട്ടിയാലും, എന്ത് സംശയം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലും ടെസ്റ്റിംഗ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അത് ചെയ്യുക, അതിന് മടിക്കാതിരിക്കുക. And if there is the tests are very good and very sensitive, and we should do the testing if possible and take appropriate action. And then one more take home message I will say is that please remain active. എല്ലാവരും ഇപ്പോൾ വീട്ടിൽ ലോക്ക്ഡൗൺ ആണ്, അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ട് എക്സസൈസും അതും ഇതും ഒന്നും മറക്കരുത്. റെഗുലർ എക്സസൈസ് ചെയ്യണം. As if you are working, you should have a schedule and follow the schedule as if it's a work schedule, and from morning to evening. And you can spend with family, you can spend with the children, walk outside, ventilation is very important. Keep the windows all open. Try to avoid air conditioning as much as possible. And maybe it's a little hot now, and that is perhaps it is good for us. And then lastly, individual level, economic impact പലർക്കും, especially unorganized sector, the daily wages people, migrant laborers, all of them, it has tremendous impact on the economics. So I think we have to help rest of the people who would really deserve help if we can, and otherwise save your own money and spend very, very carefully. So these are the things which I thought that I will share with you. And I think in general, we have to learn to live in a different world. And how long it lasts, I feel that many things will be changed forever. And maybe online shopping will become a pattern, and home delivery of medicines will become a pattern, and all that will become a pattern for the rest of our, the future. And so I want to say this much as on general terms, and then Dr. Rajalakshmi is a very qualified person to talk about it a little more technically, and I'm happy to hand over to her. Thank you very much, every one of you, for your patient listening. And if Ruby can ask me some questions to the end of it, or we can answer together. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And I indeed feel privileged to be part of this session, to answer the questions as well as to address all of you. So I'll be talking about basics about the virus and the questions or doubts you would commonly have. And then I would be addressing her about 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and then I will leave the rest of the time for queries, because that would be more than, there'll be a lot of questions regarding how to exit and what all to be taken care when we come back to normal life or near normal life. So one thing I want to stress is this virus or this pandemic, because any disease which crosses across the globe to many countries, we call it pandemic. And this pandemic has taught us that our cost of living is not expensive, only the lifestyle is expensive. As you can see, last 2 weeks we have survived with whatever minimum that we could and within the house, and it is really possible. So only the lifestyle that we carry out is expensive, and probably we can sustain in a less expensive mode for longer also. So this virus is pandemic because mainly because of its contagiousness, what we scientifically call as R naught. That is, if a person gets into a room, the R naught is calculated by how many other people are affected in the same room from the infected person. And this is calculated as higher than normal, like a common flu for this. Hence, the risk of spreading to other people. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് അവർ ഹൈലൈറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒറ്റ കാര്യം physical distancing, social distancing or physical distancing. I didn't use the word social distancing because of the WhatsApp and other media that is now online, and that is now popular, and is we are again socially connected. Literally what we mean is physical distancing, 3 to 6 feet. So that is mainly because ഇത് അത്രയ്ക്ക് contagious ആണ്. Secondary attack rate is high, especially with close contact. അപ്പോൾ ആ ഐഡിയൽ ആണ് നമ്മൾ എടുത്ത് പിന്നെ സ്ട്രെസ് ചെയ്ത് പറയുന്നത് physical distancing is important wherever you go, maybe in the household or when you go out. So regarding after the exit, so you will have maybe come back to near normal, and you may go to office, you may have to have a hospital visit, and you will have lot of lots of information regarding treatment, prophylaxis, ഈ ട്രീറ്റ്മെന്റ് എടുക്കാമോ, ഇത് വാക്സിനേഷൻ ഉണ്ടോ, BCG വാക്സിൻ ഹെൽപ്ഫുൾ ആണോ, അങ്ങനെ കുറെ ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ വിൽ ബി ലോഡഡ് വിത്ത്. ബട്ട് always follow whatever the government advises, because it comes with lot of research and lot of confidence. Don't carried away by so many information from any other social media which gives that BCG is good or ivermectin some ഇത് ഇൻഫെക്ഷനുള്ള ചെറിയ മരുന്നുകളൊക്കെ ഇതിന് എഫക്റ്റീവ് ആയിട്ട് വരും എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇറ്റ്സ് മേ ബി എ ചീപ്പർ ഓൾട്ടർനേറ്റീവ് ബട്ട് വി ഡോണ്ട് ഹാവ് good evidence. So always follow what are the government directive, or you can call teleconsult, or you can ask any queries to any healthcare hospital or healthcare institution regarding this before you consume or fall prey to any of this guidance. That is a very, very important message. Whatever the knowledge that we have about the virus is limited, and day by day we are getting more information, more studies, and we are getting any more evidence to say that this is the treatment that we can follow, and it is also rapidly changing. So please don't fall prey to any of the false information and get treatment because of a limited evidence. Always go by guidelines and get a doctor's consult before you go into any sort of treatment. Regarding self-care, Dr. Sahadulla has already told 3 important things, and these are physical distancing, hand hygiene as much as possible, as frequently as possible, especially when you go out, and before touching the face. 2 important things is whenever you touch any object that can be a virus settled on, and then before you touch your face, these are very, very important steps before which you have to use hand hygiene. Soap and water is very good because this virus has a lipid layer, a fatty layer, which gets destroyed by soap. A simple soap and water with a good hand wash is very good. If you don't have soap and water, you can carry the alcohol sanitizer. Pinna idallade what other self care you can have? There are a lot of questions. ഐറ്റംസ് വാങ്ങിക്കുമ്പോൾ അത് കഴുകണോ, എന്തൊക്കെ ചെയ്യേണ്ടതെന്ന്. നമുക്ക് കഴുകാൻ പറ്റുന്നത് ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി കഴുകാം. ലൈക്ക് ഏതൊക്കെ പ്ലാസ്റ്റിക് കവറിൽ അവൈലബിൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ളതോ അതെല്ലാം നമുക്ക് തറോലി സോപ്പ് ആൻഡ് വാട്ടറിൽ കഴുകാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഫ്രഷ് ജസ്റ്റ് റണ്ണിങ് വാട്ടറിൽ കഴുകാം, വെജിറ്റബിൾസും. പക്ഷെ ചില ഐറ്റംസ് നമുക്ക് കഴുകാൻ പറ്റാത്ത പല ഐറ്റംസും ഉണ്ടാവും. ബട്ട് ഞാൻ സ്ട്രെസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് whatever you touch, before you touch your face, if you can avoid touching directly and perform hand hygiene, kai nallapole kazhigittu idu cheyda, you are safe. Don't worry and don't get too stressed about all this. ചെറിയ സംശയം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലും ഈ പെർഫോം ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് നമുക്ക് കൈ മുഖത്ത് കൊണ്ടുപോകുമ്പോൾ കൈ കഴുകുക, അത്രയും ചെയ്താൽ ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി യു ആർ സേഫ്. ആൻഡ് ഇത് കുറിച്ച് പാനിക് ചെയ്യേണ്ട കാര്യമില്ല, സ്ട്രെസ് ചെയ്യണ്ട. ബിക്കോസ് സ്ട്രെസ് ആക്ച്വലി നമ്മൾ ഒരുപാട് സ്ട്രെസ് ആകുമ്പോൾ വി വിൽ ഡു മോർ റോങ് തിങ്സ് ദാൻ correct way. So you have to be very clear, and even going out is many people are very scared. Appo ipo government paranjirikkunnathu ellarum mask dharikanam, because നമുക്ക് എത്ര കൺട്രോൾ ചെയ്താലും ചിലപ്പോൾ സ്നീസ് ഓർ കോഫ് ക്യാൻ ഹാപ്പൻ വിത്തൗട്ട് എ പ്രോപ്പർ കവർ ഓഫ് യുവർ ഫേസ് ഓർ മൗത്ത്. അത് മാത്രമല്ല കുറെ പേര് എസിംപ്റ്റമാറ്റിക് കാരിയേഴ്സ് എന്ന് പറയും, അതായത് അവർക്ക് സിംറ്റംസ് പുറത്ത് കാണില്ല, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് എല്ലാവരും മാസ്ക് ധരിക്കാൻ പറ്റും. സോ മാസ്ക് ധരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ആൻഡ് ഇഫ് യു മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ ദ ഡിസ്റ്റൻസ്, യു ആർ pretty clear or pretty sure that you will not be getting infection by following all this. So I think your stress level should come down, and if follow these basic practices, you are pretty safe, and you can ഇതുപോലെ പുറത്ത് എന്തെങ്കിലും വാങ്ങിക്കാൻ പോകുമ്പോൾ ഇതെല്ലാം ഫോളോ ചെയ്താൽ മതി. ഒരുപാട് പാനിക് ചെയ്യണ്ട ഇതെല്ലാം കുറിച്ച്. ദെൻ തേർഡ് തിങ്, ചിലർ ഇതുപോലെ മരുന്ന് വരാതിരിക്കാൻ മരുന്ന് കഴിക്കാമോ എന്ന് പല ക്വയറീസും ഉണ്ട്. നമ്മൾ ഇപ്പോഴും അഡ്വൈസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഒരു കോണ്ടാക്ട്, അതായത് ഒരു കോവിഡ് പേഷ്യനെ ട്രീറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഡോക്ടേഴ്സിനും വീട്ടുകാർക്ക് മാത്രമേ ഈ മരുന്ന് അഡ്വൈസ് ചെയ്യാറുള്ളൂ. പക്ഷെ പലരും ഈ ഹൈഡ്രോക്സി ക്ലോറോക്വിൻ പറഞ്ഞ മരുന്ന് ഫ്രീലി മുമ്പൊക്കെ ഫാർമസിയിൽ നിന്ന് വളരെ എളുപ്പമായിട്ട് കിട്ടുമായിരുന്നു, പലരും കഴിക്കുമായിരുന്നു. അതിന്റെ സൈഡ് എഫക്ട്സ് പോലും അറിയാതും അത് ബോദർ ചെയ്യാതും. ഒരിക്കലും അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യരുത്, ബിക്കോസ് നമുക്ക് അതിന്റെ കോംപ്ലിക്കേഷൻ അറിയാത്തതുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നത്. അതിന് കുറച്ച് ബേസിക് ടെസ്റ്റ് വേണം, ഡോക്ടറിന്റെ അഡ്വൈസ് വേണം. ചിലർക്ക് നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കാറും ഇല്ല, ബിക്കോസ് സൈഡ് എഫക്ട്സ് കരുതി.
Sorry to intervene, Dr. Rajashree. I think we have a lot of participants from other parts of the world. It is better to follow my English. Okay, got it. So what I was telling is there are a lot of information coming from WhatsApp regarding treatment and prophylaxis. I want to stress, don't fall prey for it. Please follow the government policy. Aduvole tablets, there are a lot of tablets that is prescribed or advised
to take for this COVID to prevent. As such, we advise only for doctors who come in direct contact with COVID or a family member who has a COVID confirmed patient, not for rest. So it is better that you don't indulge in taking any medicine thinking that it will help based on some messages that you find in social media. Unless you have a doctor's advice, please don't, because every medicine, as far we know, it has side effects, and we in our hospital we have a specific protocol to give that medicine. We cannot take it over the counter. So beware of all the side effects of all the medicine that you are getting information about. And there are also a lot of information about BCG vaccine, whether that will cure or that will prevent. We don't have good evidence. So whenever you have a query, please go by guidelines or call your doctor before you indulge in any medication, self-medication. That is my point. Then coming to hospital visits. See, this is a very important thing that we want to take. We want to advise you as well as to prepare ourselves. We are preparing as a hospital to preparing ourselves how to space the patient, how to prevent cross transmission. So we actually preparing in a huge scale so that even from the entry we can guide the patient. The waiting time should be reduced. That is our policy. So we have switched more patients to appointment than walk-in so that their waiting time is reduced. Their contact within the environment or waiting time in the crowded corridor is reduced. So it's all spaced very well. And moreover, we also are switched to telemedicine. By this way, we were able to manage many of the follow-up patients through telephonic call, done a personal visit, which can be done in up to 30 to 40% of cases, where we need some lab tests to monitor some side effects or some lab tests to know whether they are doing good. All this, if they are checked and then it's communicated to us, we manage them very well and give a new prescription for the set period of time. So this is a video consult that we have arranged. It can be arranged in many other hospitals and it's becoming popular, and the government is also supporting that way. So that we are avoiding in that way we are avoiding again crowding in the hospital. It is a very novel way and it is taken up by many hospitals. I think we should indulge to that mode of consult if it is a review or a visit for which you have to just to show a lab report and get a medication refill. Then regarding to other aspects like the worries that come across is especially among the elderly is psychological issues. So you will have a mix of people at home. It may be children and elderly as well as middle-aged workforce. Okay, so we all know that the group that is highest risk is elderly and who have other medical illness like diabetes or heart ailment or so. So at home, what we advise as social distancing in the outdoors, the same principle should be followed indoors as much as possible, especially if you are sick. So government advises that you follow quarantine or isolation precautions at home. They are very well written guidelines. You can follow that, especially if you have a cough or illness, and especially if your children are ill as well. It is very important because children may recover fast, but then the elderly fall ill often, and they are the patients who are more admitted to the hospital as well. So these things in general, if it follow, I think we will all be safe. And even if the lockdown is removed and it is slowly when we come back to normal, we cannot avoid any of this, that is physical distancing and the steps that we have to follow. Importantly, hand hygiene and cough etiquette, where you have to cough into the elbow if you have a cough that you don't have a tissue or a kerchief to cover. These are simple things which we learned as kids in school, but then this is the thing that we have to follow a lifetime, not only to prevent SARS but to prevent many other disorders in the future. So I think by all these measures, we will be able to contain it and then slow down the process so that we'll be able to manage who fall sick because the number of people who fall sick and requiring hospitalization will be less if you follow universally all these precautions. And as a country and as a state, we will be able to face this challenge because we are all very prepared if the numbers are not as huge as US or Italy. That is what happened in other countries, and it's a lesson that we learned from them. So by doing all this, we can be more prepared to manage the sickest and avoid the number of people who fall sick first of all. So with this I will limit myself, and if there are any questions I'll be able to answer. I think there will be a lot of questions, and I think that we have 10-15 minutes for it. So we'll go for a QA session.
Thank you for a wonderful session. You've enlightened us with your knowledge, and we have got some questions from the participants. I'd like to set up the first question. This is like how to improve the health of those who have respiratory problems due to asthma and allergy. This is asked by Mary Ann. Can you please elaborate light to it?
So basically this is a situation where the patients who have asthma or any other lung disease are also at increased risk, not only for COVID but for several other infections. So I suggest that they should not miss their due vaccines at this point, which is influenza or pneumonia preventive vaccine, which they are due at this point, because now in certain area the rainy season starts. For certain countries this is a time for vaccination. So if it is a vaccination, they are due for vaccine and they are due for a visit, and they can visit the hospital with appointment and get their vaccines, and they should not stop their regular medicines. There are a lot of debate going on whether the inhaler is safe or not. It is safe to control your asthma. The steroid that you are taking is not a hefty dose. So please, without consulting a doctor, don't change your medicine or stop your medicine. If you have any queries, call them. So by following the basic hygienic principles that we discussed earlier, distancing and hand hygiene and so on, don't stop your regular medicine without consulting, and take your due shot of vaccines. That will prevent not only that will not only prevent influenza and also secondary bacterial infection that you are prone for, because we may focus on COVID, but then there are several other infections that are preventable as of now till COVID vaccine is available.
രാജലക്ഷ്മി, ഒരു പോയിന്റ് കൂടെ ഞാൻ ആഡ് ചെയ്തോട്ടെ.
Yes, sir.
അതായത് ഒന്നെന്താന്ന് വെച്ചാല് പിന്നെ ഈ വാക്സിനേഷനില് റെസ്പിറേറ്ററി ഡിസീസ് ഉള്ളവർക്ക് can I be heard?
They want it in English, I think, because many audience are English. They would like to listen in English.
Sorry. I was doing the other way around because I thought my audience are from Kerala. All right. The main thing is people who have got respiratory disorder, as had been explained, should take care of themselves. But there are a couple of things more you can do. There are two vaccinations. One is influenza vaccine, which is every year we take it. And second is pneumococcal vaccine, which also should be taken by the people who have got a chronic respiratory disease. This will give additional protection, and also they should really devote to rehabilitation, respiratory rehabilitation, അതായത് respiratory exercise and breathing exercise. And this is very important part adding to what Dr. Rajalakshmi was explaining. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We have another question on herd immunity by Nadira. Can you kindly explain a bit more on herd immunity?
Exactly. So herd immunity is actually vaccine is a mode of herd immunity where a disease occurs in milder form in a group of population which is usually healthy adults, and by creating that healthy population, the number, if it is a huge number, then the rest of the population is protected because the infection rate gradually comes down. This is what was actually taught and tried in UK for COVID. But unfortunately there was a huge group of population that got infected, and they require hospitalization as well. So if it is a mild disease and occurs in large number over the period of time, we will be able to develop herd immunity. Like asymptomatic carriers may develop mild illness, recover, because 80% of COVID is still mild disease. Only 20% reach hospital. So good number of COVID result in only mild disease. And hopefully after the removal of this lockdown, there will be slowly development of herd immunity.
Thank you, ma'am. And there is another question. Does the virus hover in the air for a substantial period of time? This is asked by Bhavdas.
Yeah, so the virus, depending on what sort of droplet size it may be suspended for long or it may just fall down. So majority of the droplets that is produced by speaking or coughing, these droplets are big and they fall down within 1 meter or 2 meter. That is why we ask to maintain that physical distancing of 1 to 2 meters. But certain procedures which are done in hospitals, certain intubation or some procedure that is done in hospital, generate small drop aerosols that is less than 5 microns, and these can be suspended in air for long. Even if a strong cough or a laugh can produce aerosol, but it's not as dangerous as a procedure that are usually done in hospital. So for non-hospital interaction, or even in hospital interaction, for an outpatient interaction, or when you see somebody in the corridor, what is needed is physical distancing. So that is why so much of stress is given on the distance that should be kept between two persons.
Thank you, ma'am. There is another question on social distancing. As sir said earlier, when the trains are opened up, and trains and airports are opened up, at that time specific distance have been asked. But these virus stay in air, stay in certain plastic surfaces for more than 72 hours. So how will they impact the secondary infections and how we can overcome this?
There are two methods of this. One is whenever, even if it is strained, whatever the disinfection process, that has to happen frequently and diligently, because whatever surface that is infected can be cleaned with alcohol to make it safe. Like if you buy something from outside, which again you are worried about, you wash it with soap and water or clean it with alcohol. Same thing can be done in any surfaces. Second is hand hygiene. You can protect yourself only by doing hand hygiene. So self-protection is only by hand hygiene and by decreasing the viral load on the surfaces. This can be done by decontamination process or cleaning process, which has been done frequently in this current scenario.
Thank you, ma'am. There is another question. COVID-19 is contained. Even if after COVID-19 gets contained, is there a possibility of a secondary outbreak? This is from Asif Ayub.
See, secondary outbreak due to COVID-19 can occur if there is a post-lockdown, if there is a huge gathering, and there can be local clustering or a small outbreak. This can happen due to resurgence. So even a single person, if he is contagious and you have a large gathering, there can be a small cluster of outbreaks. That can happen anytime, even after removal of the lockdown. So even now the Wuhan, they have removed the lockdown. So in the coming week, we will know whether it is well contained and actually how's the disease rate and so on. We have to closely monitor. So that can happen. And whether a new mutation can happen in the virus and cause a new pandemic, we don't know. So far, from our knowledge, the COVID-19 has not mutated, and all over the globe, we presume it is the same virus. So, due to mutation or a new virus, there can be new pandemic. But as such, we don't see it in the current scenario. What we are worried is post-lockdown, if there is a gathering and clustering of infection can happen, and there can be such situations.
Ma'am, there is another question that is regarding China has reported the virus being spread from pet cats. So, is it a cause of concern?
We have actually the data that so far suggested have only told a probability of a bat origin or animal origin of some other source. So it has not clearly put to cats or snakes or bat, only probability. So I don't think that's a concern, but whenever you touch a cat, you please perform hand hygiene.
Ma'am, there is another question from Indramani, ma'am. The question is how to increase the overall immunity of the people in the country.
Immunity, one is herd immunity. If many have mild illness, they can develop herd immunity and over a time. But another important thing is vaccine, which we are hoping to have in next few months, hopefully. That is another mode of getting immunity. Just like influenza, when we had a H1N1 pandemic in 2009, we had a vaccine quite soon. So we were able to overcome and sustain it, and then every year the vaccine strain changes, but that is why they advise every year annual influenza vaccine. So similarly, if you have a vaccine for COVID, we can boost our immunity.
Ma'am, we have a question regarding the workforce going back and isolating the kids and the elderly people. But when the workforce goes back, doesn't the elderly and the young people get secondary infection if the workforce, the younger generation get contacted with this virus?
Yeah, so there will be a small risk when they go to office and come back. When they travel in a common commute and then come back, they may bring back infection. But what like we do in certain essential workers, like we hospital workers, when we go home, we do the basic hygienic measures. We have a quick wash, perform hand hygiene before, quick wash, change dress, and so on. And then when we have cough, we isolate ourselves in a room, and then even at home we maintain distance, social distance. How long we don't know. Probably when we have a vaccine, we'll all immune. We will immunize the elderly first, so that they are immune first. Secondly, when there is a large number of herd immunity of mild disease coming and going, probably at that point we will be able to overcome. Till then, the basic measures should be followed, as Sir said, for 6 to 9 months from now on.
Thank you, ma'am. We have another question from Mr. Vineet Kumar. There is a news regarding the plasma therapy. So can you just elaborate on it and how useful can that be for the cure?
Okay. See, plasma therapy is again under trial. There are some reports of its benefit for severe cases. What they do is, like, people who have recovered from COVID-19, we have a group of people. So they will have a list of those people who have recovered from confirmed COVID-19, and then they will check their blood for antibody levels. The antibody levels called IgG, and these levels show that these patients have developed a good level of immunity or antibodies in the blood, which are useful to protect. So they take the blood and separate the plasma that is containing the antibody and give it to a sick patient. This is called plasma therapy. So it is studied, and Kerala has accepted that as a part of mode of therapy, and for eligible patients, probably they will try under a protocol.
So, ma'am, there is an information regarding the antimicrobial boots which are developed by the HLL. So can you throw light on that, and can that be actually used in public places? This is a query from Rahul V. Babu.
I'm not sure, because what I gather that is they are putting a disinfectant spray through which you walk through. Okay, so probably there will be some amount of disinfection sedimenting on some parts of your body, not on the whole, and that part may get disinfected by after some minutes or hours. We don't know the contact time, so it may not be fully effective is what I feel, but I don't feel, because I didn't find a strong evidence in the literature to say that this will work. So we'll have to see how it works for wherever they have installed in large places, whether the body disinfection or whatever settles, will it be effective. But most importantly, please keep in mind, the virus may settle on the body and you may transmit from one person to another through body linen or something. But the most important method of treatment is cough or respiratory mode. By walking through the chamber, disinfectant chamber, if you still don't follow any of those things, that is self-distancing and cough etiquette, hand hygiene, you're not at all safe. So what additional benefit it offers, I'm still not sure. We are studying on that, so I cannot recommend as such on that.
Thank you, ma'am. And we have one more question as we are running out of time. This is the last question which we'd like to consider. When a patient gets fully recovers, does the virus completely gets killed, and or is he still a carrier of that particular virus?
So the virus dies after a few days. These days vary from person to person. So if you are good immunity and you develop a good antibody, you may clear the viral. What I said is IgG antibody. That antibody clears your virus. You may recover early or late depending on your how fast you produce the antibody levels. So the clearance rate will vary, but ultimately you will clear by around 14 days. Sometimes it may be the throat, you may carry it for a longer time. That is why they have some guidelines say the extended period of isolation as quarantine as up to 28 days. And this virus, even if it is killed, you may find their genetic material in the blood or a throat swab. But usually it lasts for 2 weeks or a little longer depending on their immunity.
Dr. Sahadullah, sir, we have one more question. I think it is also to be answered on humanitarian grounds. One Mercy, she is at her late 30s. She was diagnosed with DM a week before the lockdown period. And now the doctor has asked us to visit a physician after a week of good exercise and diet plan. She is not able to do it and she is anxious.
She is, what's the last one?
She is anxious.
Yeah. See, diabetes is a condition where we are making, the people become a little more prone for such possibilities. But certainly, if we are following the guidelines strictly, we are staying away from the disease as much as possible, number one. Number two, control of diabetes is very important. And the required medication should be taken for that, because that control the sugar and make it to the ideal level. The reason being, it depends on your immunity and other resistance goes down when the diabetes is not well controlled. So if then the third part is that the anxiety part, and not only for her, many normal people have it. Many children have it now because they are all confined to home, and that has to be dealt with separately. There is no need that no way that the anxiety is going to help us. So please take counseling, and sometime you may even need to take some medicines. But certainly one has to have a good sleep, and once the anxiety is controlled, please see that they walk outside and take some exercise, which is always keeping the immunity better and general well-being better.
Thank you so much, sir, and also Dr. Rajalakshmi, for spending your valuable time with at this point of time. I know both of you are very busy in helping the state to handle the situation, especially Dr. Sahadullah sir. He is such a legendary one in this Kerala's health professionals are concerned. Sahadullah sir and Dr. Rajalakshmi, thank you so much for joining us. We have the technical team, Mr. Sunish and Mr. Shankaran, who is working behind the curtain, and Ruby Ismail was helping us with the questions and all. Thank you so much to the entire team.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed
Thank you,
having us. And that was a great pleasure for us to convey some knowledge. Okay, we know that your team, Ruby, all of you, thank you very much indeed, from both me as well as both Reverend Rajalakshmi and myself. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you for the informative. Thank you.